Hello, and welcome to the tutorial on filling out the Super Liga Spring 2026 forms. We put a quick tutorial together because Form 1, where you specify the fields, have changed. So you will receive an email from Oscar, and at the bottom of that email, you should see an attachment called S26 forms, and it's an Excel spreadsheet. And what you do is you double click on that, and after you double click on that, it will bring up the actual Excel spreadsheet. The spreadsheet has multiple tabs: team numbers, calendar, days teams play, fields, Form 1 and Form 2. I'll quickly go through the forms. The team numbers are the team numbers that your association are assigned. Please make sure when you're filling out form number 2 that you use these numbers. The next tab is the calendar, and it has the preseason and the regular season schedule, including championships. Days teams play. This is the typical day that the teams will play. You should be aware that in most cases you will have games on both weekend days. I've also included the birth year and appropriate age group, depending upon that birth year. This is the fees for registration and for referees. So let's get right into Form 1. Form 1 is the revised fields form. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Exeter West Greenwich as an example because they typically have most of the restrictions that associations have. So what I'm going to do is identify the field ID. I'm going to type in EW. It's going to bring up last spring's forms and the fields that were used in 2025. So I'm going to select EW08. I'm going to type in EX, and it brings up Exeter West Greenwich Soccer Complex. Now, if you have no restrictions, that is all you need to do. What this says is for these dates, this field is available all of those days. And on Saturday, the field is available at 8 o'clock in the morning. And on Sundays, the field becomes available at 12 noon. Now, I know Exeter West Greenwich does have recreation on Saturday, so they usually will specify that they cannot have any games on a Saturday until 2:30. So I just went to the drop down and selected 2:30. You can also change the description. This is more of a generic description. If you wish to add information like 7U-8U or whatever you want to add, you can add there. In the event that this field was not available the weekend of March 28th and March 29th, I would simply change this to an N, and that tells the scheduling program not to schedule any games on this field for those 2 days. Every other day, you can see that if it's a Saturday, the games can start at 2:30, and if it's a Sunday, they can start at 12 noon. Let me add some more of these fields. I'm going to type in EW, select 10, type in EX, select that, and then I'm just to have examples, I'll do 12 EX, and finally we'll do 14. Let's say we needed to add another field. You can do that by just typing in the new name, the new ID, And then, of course, the description would be the same. And maybe I want to add something here. Something like 7U, 8U, 11U, 16U. So I just added some extra information. Now, let's say there was an overlap between 8 and 10 and 20. I would indicate that by typing in overlaps EW20. I can copy that. And then down here, I would type in overlaps EW08, EW10. EW10. So just to give you an idea of how this all works, I can copy down the other fields so I know they're available only at 2:30. Now let's say this new field that we added was not available at all on a Saturday. So for EW20, if this field was unavailable the whole Saturday, I can go down to the bottom and select N. And that would tell the scheduling program not to schedule any games on Saturday on field EW20. I would like to point out that when you do have restrictions, that it causes the games to be kind of bunched together. And so it makes it really difficult when you have to do game changes and those sort of things. So I know you have, town authorities telling you not to use the fields. I understand all that. Just understand when you do put restrictions, it does create a bit of a problem with the scheduling. So that's just a quick example of how to use the new Form 1. Form 2, where you specify the teams, is basically the same. I'm just going to type in E and bring up Exeter West Greenwich. And back at the team numbers, we know Exeter West Greenwich has these numbers available to them. So I'm going to put in 309, 310, 311, 312. And just to do a quick example, I'll just fill in some of the data. If you always go left to right, you have the best chance of all the drop downs working properly. And the field numbers are taken from Form 1. And then you would enter the coach's information. And let me just do a second one here, just to kind of go through how things would work. Let's say you do have some restrictions for teams and coaches. And so you can see some of the examples. They're requesting a variance, don't play the other team, coaches multiple, and this is a true 15U team. Just some examples of what you could enter. But let's say the coach for team 309 and 312 is the same coach. So what I would ask you is if you could put in something like coaches 309, 312, and then copy that down to the other team, just so when I do the 2.5 hour gap, that I know the teams involved for that particular coach. I would point out that if you specify more than 2 teams for a particular coach, the likelihood of me being able to do 2.5 hours between games is pretty slim. So anything over 2, it's a kind of a wild card how I can do that. But this gives you a quick overview. I didn't want to spend a lot of time, but a quick overview of how to fill out the spring 2026 forms. Always make sure you save this file because you don't want to lose your changes. And then all you would do is send that out to Oscar, please, by January 30th, so we can make sure that by the time we get to the alignment meeting, we have things pretty well in hand. That's just a quick overview, and hopefully that is helpful. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.